Hey traders, Cousin Vinny coming to you from theclosingprint.com on November the 9th, Sunday, with a look at the week ahead. Of course, we know that November through April is the strongest 6 months of the year, and for the past week or so we've been pointing out NYSE and Tick Cumulative continue to move higher. They don't give any sign of a market pullback as of yet. We could see a flag, however, to slightly down. We're going to cover some of the sectors that are setting up. XLE, XBI, IBB, and gold are all looking pretty good. We're going to cover some setups in that group. So let's get to it. One of the things we pointed out was the S&P 500 weekly chart, which continues to move higher. We saw about a 0.69% increase for the week. After quite a run on October 15th, we've seen 3 weeks where the indices continue to move higher. So we're watching volume, we're watching slow stow getting up in overbought territory, and we are watching MACD as well. The comp looks pretty similar in that we've been moving sideways on the daily chart above this volume by price bar, and we've been contained by this broadening top pattern for the time being. Note where buyers stepped in on Friday as well as Thursday. We've seen some shadows down here on these candles, so things are looking pretty good on the comp as well. Stow is starting to move lower, MACD is above its signal line, and the NDX A50R is up in sell territory for the most part, but if we continue to flag sideways, we could work those indicators off and possibly move to the upside. Now the bearish side is we lose this Kirby level, volume by price level, and the 10-period EMA, the blue line, with Bollinger Bands starting to tighten up. However, I don't see that happening in near term. One reason for my reluctance to get bearish just yet is the slope on NYSE still has not turned or changed its inclination. So for the time being, it looks like we're headed for this upper trend line on the S&P on the daily, and we're also watching the NIAD for a change in slope and character. Presently things look pretty good. Tick Cumulative isn't giving any indication that it's changing slope as well. I found it kind of interesting though that the Elder Impulse system on the S&P 500 continues to give blue sticks even though Tick Cumulative is continuing to move higher and trend is down below 1. NYMO just continues to move higher. So the NYSE, which is the summation of the NYMO values, continues to accumulate positive values, so that's why that is continuing to move higher. And Tick Cumulative, which is an indication that institutions continue to buy, has yet to change its slope and give us any indication that we're going to get a crossover to the downside anytime soon. We did see a little change in character of the XLP XLY consumer staples to consumer cyclicals ratio that we watch, but it looks like it's stalling out here. The gray area is the S&P 500. Basically, when this indicator is moving lower, the black and red line, that's telling you that cyclicals are outperforming the staples, and conversely, when this indicator is moving higher, staples are outperforming, and typically a sense that institutions are positioning themselves defensively. So we'll watch this indicator going in to the end of November as Christmas is right around the corner. Looking at a chart of the gold daily, we can see that we're in this descending pattern and we just bounced off the lower trend line with stochastics moving higher. Note MACD in the bottom indicator panel is starting to turn, so we're continuing to watch gold to see if the US dollar will continue to weaken over the weeks ahead. The chart of the US dollar, as we can see, Friday we had reversal day. We'll see if this turns into anything more profound, but for the most part RSI is moving lower and we have slow stochastics starting to turn down as well as MACD. So we'll keep an eye on the US dollar for the week ahead. If we see continued further weakness, that could be a catalyst that would make the S&P and the comp as well as the Russell move higher. We mentioned in Saturday's post that we were watching XBI as well as gold for setups going into the week. Note the other sectors are overbought. XLB is starting to get to the overbought area, but most of these are overbought. IYR is starting to turn down, so this may be setting up in the weeks ahead. XLE, as we mentioned, we see slow stochastics has continued to bounce off of this area just below 50, strengthening. Looks like prices are trying to get back above the 50-period moving average, the red line, while all the other sectors except for XLV are overbought. XLV is turning down. We could see this sector get oversold in the very near future and give us a setup going into Christmas. Okay, so let's look at some setups going into the week. We're going to take a peek at our industry group here. Biotechs, which look really good. ACHN, watching this pattern. Slow Stow is overbought. This is going to be a theme on all of these names, so keep an eye on the stocks as I mention these. We want prices to get back above the 10-period moving average. Stochastics to be oversold and turning, and we want MACD to be above its signal line. A-Core above the 10-period. Slow Stow is turning, and MACD is above the signal line, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Has a little bit of a Kirby pocket here it could trade into, and we have an overhead trend line. Watch for a breakout would be a safer bet for a trade on A-Core. ALKS, you can see the flag here. There's a number of these stocks that are flagging out at recent highs back in June, July. Stow is starting to turn, MACD is above its signal line, and the prices are above the 10-period moving average. ALNY, nice flag breakout. We're looking for a break above this level here. It gets above this Kirby level. There's no overhead supply. Stochastics has already turned. This one might have already left the station. We'll see. But MACD does need to get back above the signal line. ALXN, this is the leader in the group, number one on IBD. Note the change in character on Stow. MACD above the signal line and prices above the 10-period. If this breaks higher, takes out these highs here, we could see higher prices. Amgen, another stock that we mentioned in today's blog post. A break above this flag would be an entry for us. Looking for a break above 164. Slow Stow indicates that we could see a change. We'll continue to monitor this on Monday. And MACD is above its signal line. Area, we're watching this one. It's a little bit more risky stock, but just keep in mind that this one has a nice pattern and could conceivably break higher if we get above this volume by price level. Slow Stow turning. Continue to be the same theme, MACD above its signal line. ARNA, Arena Pharmaceuticals, we're looking for this level to hold, and we have a nice big Kirby pocket here up to the 6th level with MACD meandering sideways. We're looking for some sort of continuation to the upside like some of the other biotechs, and we have MACD above its signal line. There are some weak ones in this as well, so keep an eye on names like AVEO. MACD's turning down. Biogen needs to get back above this Kirby bar, volume by price bar, and above this trend line. It's a little bit of a more sloppy chart, sort of moving sideways in a range, and we're watching Slow Stow. BMRN, a very large cup pattern for the most part, a little handle there. We had some consolidation here that we broke higher of. A nice flagpole and flag. We're looking for Stow to give us a better setup with MACD above its signal line. Cubist Pharmaceuticals, note the volume. Buyers that came in off the 20-period moving average, trying to get back above the 10-period, and we have Slow Stow in the oversold territory. MACD is right at the questionable area. You want to see this turn back up. Also note the volume by price levels that we're bouncing off of. Get back above this level here. If we bounce and continue higher, things could look good. Note the Bollinger Bands are starting to narrow as well. Celgene, this is one of our favorites going into the week. Slow stow turn back up. Note on the flag the volume tapered off. We're above volume by price levels. Everything about this stock is looking good. The fact that it's flagging out on lower volume and MACD is above its signal line. Prices are above the 10-period EMA. This should do quite well this week. Another stock, similar look. Slow stow needs to get oversold. Dendreon, we're watching this little descending channel pattern. Not really that interested in it. It's a very inexpensive stock now. It has a propensity to gap down and catch people by the short hairs. But slow stow is turning back up, and MACD looks like it wants to turn as well. DVAX, just something that we're watching in the group. Slow stow turning up. Interesting pattern. Very volatile stocks. Just keep that in mind. EXAS, Exact Sciences. Watching this little sideways pattern with slow stow getting oversold. Need MACD to get back above its signal line and prices to get back above the 10-period EMA. Excel, and a little triangle pattern, cheap stock. Note this big Kirby bar. This one has a propensity for gap downs as well. So sort of expensive, risky stock. Slow stow is turning back up. MACD above its signal line. And prices are above the 10-period EMA, believe it or not. GHDX, Genomic Health, kind of a messy pattern here with this. I'm not sure what happened with this candle, so it sort of negated that. Slow stow turning up. MACD is questionable. But prices are closed above the 10-period EMA, and the Bollinger Bands are starting to narrow. Gilead, another one that we like to watch. Note the volume by price bar here. If this pushes back above this, Gilead could continue higher. It looks like we're firming right at the 50-period moving average, the green line, at a previous breakout level, with slow stow looking like it's going to turn. Watch MACD. Want that to get back above the signal line. IMGN, I'm noting that descending pattern here. I'd rather take this on a breakout level and get above these volume by price bars where you're going to get back into this Kirby level. So this is on a watch list for the most part. If it gets above 12 on a breakout, we could see $14, $15 fairly quickly. Slow stow is turning up. MACD above its signal line. Insight looking interesting. ISIS, another stock that we like. Nice flag pattern. Slow stow turning. MACD is looking a little iffy. Could turn if prices start to bounce on Monday. MDVN, just still showing you the potential of some of these names that once these stocks start to show up on traders' radars. MyGen, in a sideways pattern. Slow stow is turning. MACD below the signal line. MBIX, this one's kind of interesting looking, and if it gets above this Kirby level, volume by price level, we have this big Kirby, there's no overhead supply. Keltner channel is moving higher as well as the moving averages. Price above the 10-period EMA. Slow stow has already turned. PCYC, nice little sideways pattern. Could break to the upside. Looks good. Slow stow is turning up. MACD is above its signal line. The ProShares BIB, this is a double leverage fund, so keep that in mind. If you want to try to trade ETFs, a lot of those stocks we just mentioned are in these. Slow stow is getting near oversold, and MACD is above its signal line. Prices are above, just closed right on the 10-period EMA. Regeneron, waiting on this one. Get back above the 10-period EMA. This one could be a good trade. And United Therapeutics, oversold stochastics. MACD needs to get back above its signal line, and prices need to get back above the 10-period as well as this volume by price bar. So keep an eye on these stocks. These look pretty good. Biotechs, above a previous breakout level. Found buyers right at that level. Bollinger Bands are continuing to expand with slow stow not giving us much of a signal. It's moving sideways for the most part. MACD above its signal line. So keep an eye on Biotechs. This one could work in the very near future. And the last stock on the list, I would only trade this on a breakout of this trend line, and prices get into this Kirby, could see some acceleration to help take out these volume by price bars at around $4 per share. But slow stow is meandering lower, so we're looking for a better setup there with MACD already above its signal line and prices above its 10-period EMA. Okay, so this is Cousin Vinny coming to you from theclosingprint.com for you new traders that need an edge, who don't understand how we trade. Come and check these top 4 or 5 videos out. This will give you a good sense of how we look for setups and how we take trades. Okay, I hope this helps. Take care and enjoy your day. If you're watching football, great. Going outside for a while with the kids. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the stream. Take care.